You do not need anything new to become wealthy. You do not need another degree. You do not need more advice. You do not need another opportunity. What you need is to subtract. Subtract the excuses. Subtract the meaningless pleasures. Subtract the seemingly harmless habits that are quietly burning your future down, because poverty is not the result of lacking money. It is the result of the things you have allowed to exist for too long in your life, the things you know are not right, yet you continue to maintain them, just like a hot air balloon trying to carry too much baggage. It cannot rise, and neither can you. If you keep holding on to what is dragging you down, you will never rise above it. Welcome back to Grow Up Wealth. This is the channel for those who crave freedom, financial, time, and mental freedom. Here, we do not only talk about money, we talk about transformation, not just numbers, but the quiet decisions that shape your entire life. If you are between the ages of 20 and 35, if you are living in the United States or anywhere in the world, and you feel like you are working hard but still struggling, you have dreams but they keep getting delayed by something vague. You know you have potential, but you do not understand why you are still stuck, then this video is for you, because you are not alone. There are sleepless nights. There are unpaid bills. There are moments when you wear a luxury jacket to meet clients, while your bank account has less than $50. There are times when you spend thousands of dollars just to look successful, even though deep down you know you are pretending, and then one day you look in the mirror and you realize you do not need anything more. You need to subtract. Subtract the alcohol. Subtract the voices of those who do not live your life. Subtract spending money on things that do not bring long-term value. Subtract procrastination. Subtract living to please others. And in just 12 months, everything changes. Not because you won the lottery, not because you got lucky, but because you began removing everything that was holding you back. That is why this video was created. To share with you 15 things that if you let go of, you will begin to see your finances, your energy, and your future shift every single day. These are not 15 tricks. These are not motivational quotes to hang on your wall. They are 15 essential decisions if you are truly serious about becoming wealthy. Now imagine if you never changed. 5 years from now, you are still in the same place. Still spending money based on emotions. Still doing a job you do not love. Still living an okay life when you are fully capable of living an extraordinary one. That is not destiny. That is a decision, and you can decide again, right now. This video is your map, but you must be the one to walk the path. Watch until the end. Comment below what you are ready to let go of after watching. And if you are truly ready to turn the page to the next chapter of your life, then start with the first thing. Are you ready? Let us begin the journey of financial transformation with the very first step, letting go of alcohol and meaningless partying. Giving up alcohol and meaningless parties, a small sacrifice for a great future. What kills your desire to get rich isn't failure. It isn't a lack of money. It isn't a lack of opportunity. It's every Friday night. A party night that seems harmless. A few beers to relieve stress. Staying up until 3 a.m. just to forget about a tough work week. Each night like that doesn't seem dangerous on its own, but when it happens week after week, month after month, year after year, it becomes a silent, self-destructive financial strategy that you don't even notice. Let's do some simple math. Spending just $200 on a weekend night drinks, Uber food afterward, adds up to nearly $800 a month. In 1 year, close to $10,000. That amount, invested into an index fund earning 8% annually, would grow to over $22,000 in 10 years. And if you kept investing instead of partying for a decade, you wouldn't be worried about rent, your kids' education, or startup capital, but instead, you traded that future for nights of flashing lights and music loud enough to drown out your inner voice. Here's the trap. Society calls it stress relief, but in reality it's just organized procrastination. You're not drinking for fun, you're drinking to forget. You're not going out because you're fully living. You're going out to avoid facing the emptiness inside. Alcohol doesn't kill you immediately, but it steals the best version of you little by little. It takes your clarity the next morning. It kills a Sunday morning that could have been spent learning a new skill, drafting a business plan, or building an extra income stream. It makes you miss 4 hours of high-value productivity hours that could be worth more than the entire night before. It convinces you to settle for an average life when you were born to do more. The problem isn't alcohol. The problem is your relationship with it. If every party is an excuse to escape, then it's a sign you're selling your future one sip at a time. Here's the hard truth. You cannot build your empire if you're waking up every morning with a hangover. To become wealthy, you must stay sober. Not just physically, but mentally. Not just at work, but in the smallest decisions that shape your trajectory. A sober mind sees opportunities others miss. A sober person builds their financial system while their friends are still figuring out which club is hot this week. A sober person wins. This isn't advice to avoid all fun. This is a reminder. Choose what's worth your energy and time. If you're truly serious about wealth, start by removing the habits that rob you of control. And alcohol, meaningless parties, they're some of the most common silent destroyers of potential today. No one wakes up rich by accident. Wealth is the result of invisible decisions, nights you said no to going out, weekends you spent learning, growing and building assets. You can keep living like the majority and get what the majority gets, or you can choose a different path. Harder, lonelier, but richer, freer, and more fulfilling. It all begins with one choice: to give up alcohol and meaningless parties. Not because you can't drink, but because you're prioritizing the best version of yourself. And if you're truly serious about your financial goals, start today by rewriting your relationship with clarity. Number 2, letting go of toxic relationships. When the person next to you is holding you back from wealth, there's something most people are afraid to say out loud, but everyone can feel it deep down. The person you love might be the one destroying your financial potential, not by spending your money, but by constantly planting seeds of doubt, delay, and fear in your mind, not by yelling or arguing, but with subtle phrases that choke your ambition. I think you're being unrealistic. Let's just play it safe for now. Starting a business is too risky. That's not feedback. That's poison dripping slowly into your thinking. Toxic relationship doesn't need to be loud, dramatic, or controlling every minute of your day. Sometimes it's just the constant presence of someone who doesn't believe in the path you've chosen, and little by little you begin to shrink your dreams to make them seem less extreme. You start to slow down, afraid of leaving them behind. You stop sharing your ambitions because you're tired of the debates and eye rolls. And then one day, you wake up in a life that's stable, but hollow. You still love them, but deep inside you know they're not your partner, they're your chain. Each of us is the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. If even one of those people constantly doubts you, holds you back, or makes you feel like you need permission to grow, you are suppressing your own potential. No one can rise in an environment that makes them feel like they're too much for simply dreaming big. You cannot become wealthy if you're constantly shrinking yourself to fit into someone else's idea of who you should be. You cannot go far if the person beside you is always pulling you back. A toxic relationship doesn't just kill love, it kills motivation, destroys vision, and slowly burns away your confidence. There are people who make you bloom when you're around them. And there are people who make you wither, even while holding your hand every single day. Don't let your emotions fool you into thinking, because I love them, I have to stay. Because true love lifts you up, it doesn't demand that you lie still to make someone else feel comfortable. If they don't support your growth, if they act uncomfortable every time you talk about goals, money, success, if you have to dim your light just to keep the peace, then you're living as a smaller version of yourself just to preserve something you call love. But love should never require you to give up your dreams for acceptance. Real love is a space where you can grow without asking for permission, and if the relationship you're in is making you poorer, more tired, more lost, then you don't need that relationship. You need to be strong on your own for a while, rather than be forever weakened by someone who never lets you grow. Letting go of a toxic relationship is not a failure, it's a declaration. I choose myself. I choose the path that leads upward. Number 3, Let go of the social media mask. True wealth doesn't need a filter. There's a new kind of poverty these days, financial poverty disguised as online wealth. Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, they've all become massive stages, and everyone's playing a role, the role of someone who's doing just fine. But behind the travel photos, the luxury coffee clips, the expensive outfits, are maxed out credit cards, are the anxious thoughts at the end of each month, worrying about how to make the next iPhone payment, are the insecurities when a post doesn't get enough likes. This isn't just an aesthetic issue. It's a silent financial crisis rooted in the need to be seen rather than to truly live. When you spend money to look like a successful person instead of becoming one, you're investing in the image while starving the reality. You buy the designer bag not because you need it, but because you're afraid of being judged. You book a vacation just to have something to post on Instagram, while your emergency savings can't even cover $500. And then you tell yourself, it's fine, everyone does it. It's just this once. It's just to maintain my image. But the truth is, you're spending money to buy validation from people you won't even remember 3 years from now. What you're wearing every day isn't a watch, it's a mask. And the more flawless that mask looks, the more depleted you are behind it. You cannot build wealth with a mindset obsessed with proving yourself online. Because you'll always spend more than you earn, always choose to look okay instead of actually being okay, always live for the approval of others instead of your own freedom. True wealth doesn't need to be photographed. It doesn't need likes, it doesn't need filters. It doesn't need a deep caption. True wealth is sleeping peacefully at night because you owe no one anything. It's being able to say no to a toxic job because you've achieved financial freedom. It's never needed to prove yourself because you know you're on the right path. Don't let social media define your value, because the cost of looking rich today is the delay of your real financial freedom tomorrow. Let go of the need for digital approval. Stop yourself before spending another dollar just to impress someone you don't even really know. Start using money to build the foundation for your freedom instead of building a digital illusion of yourself. Letting go of the social media mask doesn't mean disappearing. It means finally showing up, for real, with stability, control, and a sustainable journey toward wealth. Number 4, let go of the get-rich-quick dream, because real wealth walks, it doesn't fly. The dream of getting rich quick is the sweetest fantasy and also the most dangerous financial trap. It starts off innocently enough, a YouTube video promising you'll make $10,000 in just 30 days. A financial secrets course is introduced, like you've just discovered a millionaire formula no one else knows. A Discord group hyping up crypto plays that 50x your portfolio in a few weeks. It sounds tempting. It sounds like a magic. Daughter to millionaire status. But here's the truth. There is no shortcut to real wealth. If you need to hear this again, then listen closely. The rich walk. The poor run in circles looking for an express train. Most of the people you see are successful today. They've been grinding in silence for 5, 10, even 15 years. No one accidentally becomes a millionaire overnight. You just didn't see the years they spent sweating, learning, enduring, and failing over and over again. The get-rich-quick dream plays directly into human weakness, our impatience, our fear of being left behind, our craving to prove something. Fast, but wealth is a long game. Real returns come from deep understanding, consistent action, and repeating the right steps for years. If you can't be patient with the process, you'll have to live forever with the consequences. The consequences of greed. The consequences of throwing your savings into empty promises. The consequences of believing just one big win is all you need. I'm not saying breakthroughs don't happen. I'm saying real breakthroughs only. Come when you're skilled enough, experienced enough, and stable enough to keep what you've built. Because here's the truth. Many people hit it big and lose everything. Not because they were stupid, but because they built a skyscraper on soft soil. You don't need to hit the jackpot. You need a foundation. You don't need a magic launch pad. You need solid financial habits. You need discipline, knowledge, and a long-term strategy that you're willing to stick to, even when no one is clapping for you. Sustainable wealth isn't sexy. It's not viral. It doesn't bring thousands of likes or trending videos. It's you saving 20% of your income every single month. It's you investing in ETFs and index funds, slow but steady. It's you learning new skills instead of chasing hot tips. Wealth doesn't come from luck. It comes from the right choices repeated consistently long enough until results are inevitable. Letting go of the get-rich-quick dream isn't giving up on wealth. It's finally playing by the real rules, the rules of those who actually win. Number 5. Let go of the procrastination mindset. Because wealth waits for no one. Have you ever told yourself, I'll do it tomorrow? I'll wait until I have more capital. I'll start when I'm more ready. I'm still young, no need to worry now. If you have, you're carrying one of the most dangerous mindsets that kills your ability to build wealth, and it doesn't even require a financial crisis to do so. Procrastination doesn't show up as rejection. It shows up as a sweet promise. It's not that I won't do it, just not right now. But here's what no one tells you. Not right now often becomes never. Every day you delay, you lose your youth, the power of compound interest, the flexibility to take risks, the chance to start early, fail early, and correct early. And then 5 years pass, and you realize you're still standing in the same place. Not because you lacked ability, but because you didn't act soon enough. You think you have time. You think starting a business in a few years is still okay. You think waiting until you're over 30 to invest is fine. You think you can save later. Right now, just live. But you don't see the trap that's slowly opening each day, because wealth doesn't belong to those who wait. Wealth is the reward for those who start early, even if they're not perfect. You might not have all the resources. You don't have much money yet. You're unsure where to begin. You don't have a mentor or powerful network. That's okay. What you need is not perfect readiness. What you need is your first action. Open an investment account. Cut one unnecessary expense. Pick up that book you've left unfinished for a month. Write down your financial goals. Turn off your phone and start working. No one ever regrets starting early. But millions regret waiting too long. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need the courage to take the first step and adjust as you go. And if you're still waiting for a sign to begin, this is it. There's no perfect time. There's only you and the choice you make today. Letting go of the procrastination mindset is how you take back control of your future, one day, one decision, and one small but determined step at a time. Number 6. Let go of the blame mindset. Because pointing fingers never built wealth. There's something strange about the mindset of the poor. Not everyone lacks money, but almost everyone has an excess of excuses. They blame the economy, their parents for not being rich, the school system for not teaching life skills, the government, society, their jobs, their friends, and their childhood. Some even blame genetics, and then they ask, why am I still poor? The answer is hidden in the question itself. You're spending too much energy blaming instead of solving. Blame is a defense mechanism of the mind, because admitting you're the cause hurts. It makes you feel better temporarily, but it silently strips away your power to change. Because if everything is someone else's fault, then you have no choice but to complain and wait for a miracle. The rich don't blame. They ask better questions. When they face a financial crisis, they don't say, the market sucks, I'm just unlucky. They ask, what did I misjudge? How can I prevent this from happening again? When they get rejected from a deal or partnership, they don't scream. They just don't appreciate talent. They ask, how can I pitch this better next time? When they fail, they don't collapse and blame their circumstances. They stand up, extract the lesson, and move forward. You can't control where you were born, but you can control where you end up. And that begins the moment you take full responsibility for the life you currently have. What's truly frightening isn't being poor. What's frightening is being poor and still thinking it's someone else's fault. Blame makes you feel righteous but keeps you stuck. Responsibility might sting, but it gives you the leverage to transform. When you stop blaming, you begin to see solutions. When you stop saying, I can't because of, and start asking, what can I do with what I have? That's when the game changes. Remember this, the person who takes responsibility isn't someone who never struggles. They're the person who refuses to let circumstances decide their future. And that's the mindset of someone who will become wealthy sooner or later. Letting go of the blame mindset won't make your life easier, but it will make you stronger and ready to take control of your own future. Number 7. Let go of a lifestyle where you spend more than you earn, because you can't build wealth from a negative balance. There's a dangerous habit quietly eroding the financial future of millions of young people. It's spending money as if you're already rich, even when you don't really know how much is actually in your account. You might be earning $3,000 a month, but if you're spending $3,200, you're not living, you're sliding downhill in style. The most common excuse people use: money's meant to be spent, not hoarded. Or worse, I work hard all week, I deserve this. So they reward themselves with a new pair of shoes, a vacation they can't afford, a new iPhone on a 24-month payment plan. But here's the truth. The problem isn't that you want to treat yourself. The problem is you're spending money before you've learned how to keep it. Remember this: money doesn't solve financial problems. Discipline does. If you can't manage $3,000, you'll burn through $5,000. If you can't manage $5,000, you'll blow $10,000 too. A high income will never save you from poor spending habits. The wealthy aren't those who earn the most. The wealthy are those who keep the most and know how to turn money into assets, not into consumer debt. There's an unshakable rule in personal finance. If you spend like you're rich before you're rich, you'll never get rich. You might think you're enjoying life, but in reality, you're trading future freedom for temporary comfort. You're investing in dopamine, not in assets. You're feeding your emotions instead of building a strong financial foundation. If you want to change your life, start by looking at your bank statement. How you spend your money each month reveals more about who you are than your resume or LinkedIn profile ever will. Start with small changes. Stop buying things just for fun. Stop spending money to impress people who don't matter. Set a budget for entertainment and stick to it. Because true freedom isn't about how much you can spend, it's about having the power to choose not to spend when you don't need to. Letting go of the lifestyle where you spend more than you earn doesn't mean living like a monk. It means living with strategy and building toward a future of real financial freedom. Number 8. Let go of the need for validation. Because true wealth doesn't need an audience. Do you know what's silently holding you back from becoming wealthy? It's not a lack of capital. It's not a lack of opportunity. It's the obsession with being validated. You don't start a business because you're afraid people will laugh. You don't invest because you're scared they'll call you foolish if you lose everything. You don't live authentically because you fear someone saying you've changed. We grow up in a world that teaches us how to earn praise, but never how to live without needing it. You learn to get high grades for applause. You post pictures for likes. You dress up not for yourself, but for someone else's gaze. And over time, you lose the most valuable thing of all, your inner voice. If you always need applause before taking the first step, you'll never move when the crowd is silent. But wealth doesn't come from the spotlight. Wealth is built in the shadows through quiet actions no one sees. The truly wealthy don't need anyone to validate them. They act, they fail, they learn, they repeat until success becomes undeniable. You can start from zero. You might have no support, no cheerleaders, no fans, but don't let that stop you. If you live to please others, eventually you'll be broke because you're spending all your energy chasing approval instead of chasing growth. Wealth demands that you stand out, and standing out means you'll be doubted, misunderstood, and even criticized. That's the price to avoid paying the price of living the wrong life forever. Learn how to become someone who doesn't need an audience, someone who builds steady finances without flaunting it, someone who quietly invests while others flash rented cars on Instagram, someone who says, "I don't need applause, I just need to stay on track." When you stop living to impress, you start living to produce results, and results don't need to be liked. They just need to live through a real life, real assets, real freedom. Letting go of the need for validation is the first step to clearing your mind and focusing all your energy on building the career, the wealth, and the life you choose. Number 9. Let go of waiting for the right time. Because the wealthy start before they feel ready. There's a sweet little lie we often whisper to ourselves, it's not the right time yet. Wait until you have more capital. Wait until you're less busy. Wait until you gain more skills. Wait until the market stabilizes. Wait for your partner to support you. Wait for someone to show you the way. Wait for next year, next month, someday. But the truth is, that perfect time you're waiting for, it will never come. That's why the poor wait, the average wait. But the wealthy? They start. Not because they're fully ready, but because they understand one powerful truth. There is no perfect start. But there are delays that can cost you a lifetime. You think you're preparing thoroughly, but in reality you're procrastinating disguised as perfectionism. You call it analyzing, but it's fear of failure, dressed up as intelligence. Look, at every successful person you admire, they started with nothing, no money, no network, no perfect plan. But they had one thing. They took action. That's the biggest difference. The person who fails asks, is it the right time yet? The person who succeeds asks, what can I do with what I have right now? Because if you won't start with $100, you won't start with $10,000. If you don't have the courage to sell to one customer, you won't have the courage to sell to $1,000. You don't need more time. You need fewer excuses and more action. The truth is, you'll never feel completely ready to start your financial journey, but you can start and get ready along the way. Talent isn't the deciding factor. Speed of action is what creates the gap between those who win and those who stay stuck at the starting line. Still waiting for the perfect moment? Remember this. Someone else started 6 months ago, and today, they're much closer to financial freedom. Meanwhile, you're still sitting there, tweaking your plan, waiting just a little longer. Letting go of the habit of waiting for the right time won't just help you move faster. It will make you stronger, because you'll learn to leap without needing guarantees. Number 10. Let go of the habit of quitting after failure, because wealth is a combat sport. Most people don't fail because they're incapable. They fail because they give up too soon. The first failure, they quit. The first rejection, they retreat. One bad investment, they vow never to invest again. No customers for their first business, they blame the market and walk away. And just like that, it's over. You're not poor because you lack opportunities. You're poor because you haven't learned how to keep going after everything collapses. Failure is not the end. It's the test to see whether you deserve to go further. The wealthy aren't people who've never failed. They're the ones who never let failure become the final chapter. They learn to turn pain into wisdom, mistakes into lessons, and setbacks into springboards. There's a simple but painful truth. Success is the reward for those who are stubborn enough not to quit. The world doesn't demand perfection from you, but it absolutely requires resilience. Whether it's personal finance, investing, or entrepreneurship, it's a long game. It will test you, it will make you doubt yourself. It will knock you down, corner you, and drain your last dollar. And then, it watches. How do you rise? If every time you fail you quit, then you're defining yourself as someone who can't succeed, all because of a temporary event. Failure doesn't kill you. Your attitude after failure is what determines whether you move forward or stay stuck forever. And here's the good news. Every successful person you admire has a failure list longer than you think. Steve Jobs was fired from the company he founded. Elon Musk once went broke after SpaceX nearly collapsed. Oprah Winfrey was fired from her first job in TV for being unfit for television. They failed and they came back. Stronger, wiser, more dangerous. Letting go of the habit of quitting after failure is how you rewrite the script of your life. It's no longer a story of almost made it, but a journey of grit, scars, and relentless pursuit to the finish line. Number 11. Let go of the consumer-only mentality, because the rich always produce more than they consume. There's a hard truth no one wants to admit. You can't get rich by scrolling all day and doing nothing. You watch YouTube videos about how to make money. You save 100 motivational quotes on Instagram. You like every success story clip on TikTok. But in the end, you sit still and wait for a miracle. Technology has given you unprecedented power. With just a smartphone, you can reach millions. You can sell products, share skills, record podcasts, make videos, design, consult, teach. But instead of using your phone to build assets, you use it to make other people rich. Every time you watch a video, the creator makes money. Every time you scroll past an ad, someone gets a commission. Every 3 hours spent on social media, you're enriching the platform with your attention. You don't need to be the smartest person in the room. You just need to shift from being a consumer to being a creator. That doesn't mean you have to become a content creator. You can build products, you can write a book, share your experience, become a mentor, start a business, freelance, or invest in real-world ventures. You just need to start producing value instead of waiting to be entertained through a screen. The world is divided into two groups: creators, who get paid; consumers, who pay. Which group are you in? The wealthy understand one simple truth that changes everything. No one gets paid just for knowing. People get paid for doing. You can read 50 books a year, but if you never act on them, you're just a high-level content consumer. The rich don't shy away from learning, but they learn to execute. The poor learn just enough to feel less guilty about not starting. Don't confuse inspiration with progress. Inspiration is a spark. Action is the fire that transforms your life. Want to begin your real wealth journey? Turn off the device, make a plan, create something, share your experience, write a blog, record a video, teach what you know, or simply find a way to solve someone's problem and charge fairly for it. Letting go of the consumer-only mindset is the first step to shifting from spectator to player, and only players ever stand a chance of winning the financial game. Number 12. Let go of comparing your life to others, because wealth has no universal template. Every day you open your phone and you see someone succeeding. An old classmate just posted about buying a house. A young influencer is checking in from the Maldives. A coworker just got promoted. Her friend from college successfully launched a startup and raised $1 million investment. And then you look at yourself, and suddenly your life feels small, slow, and unremarkable. But here's the trap of the digital age. You're comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. You see their moment of glory, but not the sleepless nights, the anxiety, or the failures they fought through. You see the outcome, but not the journey. You see the shine trailers, but not the scars behind it. Comparison blurs the most important truth. You are on your own path. You don't know where they started. They may have had financial backing from their family. They may be drowning in debt just to keep up appearances. Or maybe they simply started 5 years before you did, while you're just stepping off the starting line. If you keep looking sideways or behind you, you'll never be able to move forward. Successful people don't compare themselves to others. They measure themselves against who they were yesterday. They don't ask, why am I not like them? They ask, did I make progress today? Comparison is an addictive poison. It makes you feel like you're constantly lacking talent, lacking luck, lacking opportunity, and over time it robs you of your gratitude, your confidence, and your motivation. If you want to build wealth, you have to stop wasting energy on things that aren't yours. Refocus on your plan, on the assets you're building, on the discipline you're strengthening, on the small consistent steps you're taking every day. Because here's the truth, wealth isn't about being better than someone else. It's about being better than who you were a year ago. Letting go of comparison is how you return to the real race, the only race you need to win, the one against your former self, and that's the race that leads to lasting financial freedom. Number 13. Let go of the I already know that ego, because all poverty begins with this delusion. If there is one type of poverty more dangerous than any other, it is not financial poverty. It is the poverty of knowledge hidden behind the illusion of knowing it all. I already know that. This simple phrase becomes the invisible wall blocking every opportunity, every breakthrough, and every transformation. Someone talks about investing. You nod, yeah, I know this already. You see a video about wealth building, nothing new here. A successful person shares their journey, just lucky, and just like that, you shut the door to everything that could have changed your life. The "I already know that" mindset is not a sign of intelligence. It is a symptom of arrogance, and arrogance always comes before failure. Think about it. The wealthy never stop learning. Warren Buffett reads more than 80% of his day. Elon Musk learned how to build rockets by reading and asking experts. Even billionaires hire coaches, not because they're weak, but because they're obsessed with growth. The "I don't know yet, but I'm willing to learn" mindset. That's where real wealth begins. So if you truly want to become a better version of yourself, start by being genuinely humble. Not just in words, but in action. Read one more chapter. Ask one more question. Listen to one more person smarter than you. And above all, never let the phrase "I already know that" kill the success you never even got to build. Because life is always trying to teach you something valuable, but only if you are willing to learn. You want to stand out? You want to rise? Then let go of the "I already know that" ego. Instead, show up like a student with wide eyes, open ears, and a mind hungry for growth. If you've ever caught yourself falling into the trap of "I know this already," you are not alone. Drop a comment below. I am ready to learn again, because financial freedom does not come from old knowledge. We'll walk this journey with you, one lesson at a time. Because no one gets rich by pretending they already know everything. Number 14. Let go of the victim mentality. Because no one pays complainers. I'm poor because my parents aren't rich. I'm not successful because my school sucked. I can't invest because my salary is too low. I can't start because I'm not as talented as others. Sound familiar? That's the language of a victim mindset, and it's keeping you broke every single day. The victim mindset is when you constantly believe the world is out to get you. You don't have the same chances as others. You're at a disadvantage, and there's nothing you can do about it. So what happens? You wait. Wait for someone to save you. Wait for luck to strike. Wait until things feel more fair. But here's the truth. Life isn't fair, and it doesn't owe you anything. The victim mindset sounds reasonable, but in reality, it's the lock on the door that holds back your full potential. You're not rich because you're still using injustice to justify staying stuck. You're not taking action because you've convinced yourself nothing will change. Meanwhile, wealthy people operate from a different mindset. I didn't choose where I was born, but I take full responsibility for where I end up. You were born poor. That's a challenge, not a life sentence. You failed before. That's data, not your destiny. You lack knowledge. Learn. You lack money. Create value. You lack a network. Start by helping others. And here's the thing. The moment you stop playing the victim, solutions start showing up. Because when you blame, you hand over your power. But when you take responsibility, you take it back. Wealthy people don't live to blame. They live to act. They act to learn. They act to adapt. They act to find opportunities. And if they don't find any, they create them. Letting go of the victim mindset doesn't mean denying your past. It means refusing to let it define your future. Number 15. Let go of living without a plan. Because money never stays with those who don't know where they're going. There's a dangerous kind of poverty, not the kind where you don't have money, but the kind where you have no direction in life. You wake up every day swept away by work, social media, the news, deadlines. Then at the end of the month you look back and have no idea what you actually did. At the end of the year you reflect and realize you don't even know where you're heading. You might be smart, you might work hard, but without a clear plan, your efforts are scattered in all directions, and none of them lead you to your destination. Poor people live on impulse. Rich people live by a plan, not because they're rigid, but because they understand one simple truth. Time and money, if not managed, will leave you. Do you have a plan for the next 6 months? Do you know exactly how much you need to save each month? Do you know what percentage of your current balance is allocated for investments? Do you have a specific financial goal for the next 5 years? If not, don't be surprised when you find yourself constantly stressed about money, even after working hard your whole life. Financial freedom doesn't come from a high salary. It comes from a clear, measurable, controlled strategy that moves you step by step toward your goals. People. who live without a plan live by default. And living by default means someone else is planning your life for you. Advertisements will spend your money for you. Your company's schedule will consume all your time. Society will define success for you. You cannot become wealthy if you don't actively design your own path. And don't confuse planning with having everything figured out. Planning simply means, I know where I am. I know where I want to go. And here are the steps I'm taking to get there. People without a plan spend emotionally. People with a plan spend intentionally. People without a plan work to survive. People with a plan work to build freedom. Letting go of living without a plan is the most mature action you can take for yourself. It transforms you from someone chasing life into someone leading it. The 15 things you need to let go of are not about sacrificing yourself. They are about unlocking a stronger, freer, and wealthier version of who you are meant to become. If you are ready to transform, then begin with just one thing today. Just one thing. Then repeat. Then elevate. And soon you will not believe the difference that you have created. Take action today before it is too late. Wealth does not begin with the number in your account. It begins with the mindset you choose to hold on to and the things you are brave enough to release. You do not need to change everything overnight, but you do need to begin with one step today. Comment below. Which of the 15 things are you ready to give up starting today? We will read every comment, respond, and stand beside you on this journey to build true wealth from mindset to execution. Do not forget, like this video if you found value in it. Subscribe to Grow Up Wealth so you never miss the next powerful lesson. And turn on notifications because our next video will help you build a financial lifestyle that is stronger, more disciplined, and more effective than 99% of people out there. Because you were not born to live an average life. You were born to take control of the financial game, and we are here to help you do exactly that. See you in the next video.